Shalom. Shalom, Israel. First and foremost, I want to give all praises unto Yahweh, by Hashem, Yahweh Shai, by Hashem Kadash. Double honor to our apostles and elders, a great millstone. And shalom to you brothers pushing this word all over the earth in truth and sincerity. It's lucky on that every time. This lesson is going to be going into what's going to be entitled, Who Are the Gentiles? Because as we know in the Christian church, and we know that from what we've been taught, we know that the Gentiles were the other nations and the other people. But we're gonna see if that's biblical. We're gonna go through the scriptures, we're gonna get some precepts, and we're gonna see that if the Gentiles are the other nations or the Gentiles were Israelite foreigners. So it might be a lengthy lesson, who knows. But the first scripture that I'm going to start off with is, bear with me, it's going to be 1 Corinthians. I'm going to start with 1 and 1, and then I'm going to go on down. All right. Got a little dim. I can't adjust anything while it's recording like this. All right, so let's find out who the Gentiles are. Get a sip of water. All right. Hold on. Make sure it's not blurry. All right. This is 1 Corinthians 1 and 1. Paul, called to be an apostle of Yahweh Shai HaMashiach through the will of the Most High, and Sonthenus, our brother, unto the church of the Most High, which is at Corinth, to them that are sanctified in Hamashiach Yahweh Shai, called to be saints, with all that in every place call upon the name of Yahweh Shai Hamashiach our Lord, both theirs and ours. Grace be unto you and peace from the Most High, our Father, and from the Lord Yahweh Shai Hamashiach. Now, there's a very important part right here at the beginning in this epistle. And if you look up the definition of epistle, it's literally a letter. That's the definition of epistle. So now that we know, because when you read the top, this is an epistle. It says the first epistle of Paul, the apostle to the Corinthians. Now, so since it's a letter, let's dress it down. Let's break it down a little bit before we get into it. Now, if I was to write a letter to somebody, to anybody, or you to write a letter to somebody, let's say you was writing a letter to a guy like 8 houses down from you or whatever. You was writing a letter to him, and let's say you put whosoever, or you put all. Now, if your next door neighbor goes to take the person's mail that you was writing to, can he include himself in that letter when it says all or whosoever? No. Because the letter was not written to you to begin with. So you taken somebody else's mail letter and you included yourself because it says all. So let's say whosoever wants to attend the party. That's only addressed to that household. Not so, whoever wants to join the party, so now I get to hop in and now I get to do it. No, it's not talking about that. I mean, you can't do that. And it's the same thing as these other nations, and our people too try to include them in, and they're the Gentiles. No, these are all, when you dealing with Paul, and most of these books, Thessalonians, Colossians, Philippians, Corinthians. I think Ephesians is one of them too. And Ephesus, Galatians, yeah, Ephesians. All these books are letters written to the Israelites scattered. Has nothing to do with the other nations and the people that's there. It has to do with the Israelites that's being there. Just like in today's age, we call ourselves American. Or if let's say you're from Russia, you call yourself a Russian. Or you live in, you call yourself any other thing you could think of. It's the same exact stuff that was going on, the same exact concept that was going on back then, is the same exact concept that's going on now. The only thing that's changing is just the title that we call ourselves. We call ourselves American. It's the same exact thing. It's not a hard concept to grasp. So let's get back on the point. Not to veer off too much. I just want to address that because that's what a letter is. And now let's get this point too, because it says called to be saints. So let's get this. Let's find out who the saints are. Let's get this because this is a very, very, very important part too. Because Christians are reading context, brother. We reading context. Let's find out who the Christians. I mean, not the Christians. The saints are, according to the scriptures. So let's find that out. All right. Psalms 50 in verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me. Which is who? Those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. What? Let's read that again. Psalms 50 in verse 5. Gather my saints together unto me, those that have made a covenant with me by sacrifice. Who else has done that? Did other nations make a covenant, make an agreement to the Most High by sacrifice? Where's that account at? No. A lot of people have a problem too because they think Cornelius is a heathen. Cornelius is an Israelite. So that's where all this confusion comes in. When you're watching other camps, they talk about Cornelius is not Israelite. That gives people permission. That gives the other nations permissions to hop right on in, to jump right on in this thing. Let's get another precept on that. Let's get Psalms 148. And verse 14. Psalms 148 and verse 14. He also exalted the horn of his people, the praise of all his saints, even of the children of Israel, a people near unto him. Praise ye the Lord. So who's the people near to the Most High? Even of the children of Israel. So the saints are the Israelites. You're gonna read this from front to back. You're not gonna find any other nation being called saints. So to break what we reading down in 1 Corinthians 1:1, it says, unto the church of the Most High, which is at Corinth, to them that are sanctified in Hamashiach Yahushua, called to be saints. Who's called to be saints? Who are the saints? The Israelites. This letter, this epistle, was written to the Israelites that were there, not the actual people. So let's get into this. First scripture I want to start off. There's a lot of stuff going on across the water, and you guys can't pick up on the camera. So it's locked. 1 Corinthians 12 and verse 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren. Who is Paul's brethren? Let's find out. Let's find out who his brethren is first. Let's completely break this thing down. Romans 9 and verse 3. For I wish that myself were accursed from the anointed, for my brethren, my kinsmen, according to the flesh, who are Israelites. Who was Paul's brethren? The Israelites, according to the flesh. To whom pertaineth the adoption, and the glory, and the covenants, and the giving of the law, and the service of the Most High, and the promises. So who were Paul's brethren? The Israelites. So let's get this. 1 Corinthians 12 verse 1. Now concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, I would not have you ignorant. Verse 2. Ye know that, actually no. Slakia. I'm gonna get that one just yet. I'm gonna read this one real quick first. And then I'm gonna jump over there to this. 1 Corinthians 10 verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not have, hold on. It says brethren again. Keep that in mind. Moreover, brethren, who was his brethren? We just read it, Israelites. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. And did all eat the same spiritual meat, and did drink all the same spiritual drink, for they drank of the spiritual rock that followed them, and that rock was the anointed. So, let's read this one more time. 1 Corinthians 10 and verse 1. Moreover, brethren, I would not that ye should be ignorant how that all our fathers were under the cloud and all passed through the sea and were all baptized unto Moses in the cloud and in the sea. Now here's the question. If these are the other nations, Gentiles, the one that's in Quran that Paul is speaking to, that would have to be a question. This is a question. Were they under the cloud with Moses when they was crossing the sea? Were the other nations there when we was crossing through the sea? The Egyptians were there, but they chased after us and the sea got closed on them. So who else was there? It was all Israelites that this happened to. It didn't happen to everybody else. So that's a stumbling block right there. How? I want that question to be answered by you Christians. It says that all our fathers were under the cloud. And you have to really break this down. It says our fathers. Now, if he was talking to other nations, he wouldn't say our father because they don't have the same father as him. It says our father. So therefore, he hasn't been talking to his brethren like he mentioned above, two lines above, that they were under the cloud. And it says our fathers. So if, let's for an example, if you was talking, I say you was given a speech or whatever, and you always say something, you want to quote something that your dad always used to tell you or whatever. So in the middle of that speech, you're going to say, like my father has always said. You're not going to say our father. You're going to say like my father always said, and then blah, 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 blah. Because you say like our father always said, that would mean that the other people, the people that you're talking to, have the same father as you. You see? That wouldn't make any sense because Paul said our fathers were under the cloud. And who is he speaking to? He's speaking to the Israelite foreigners that were in Corinth. See, so how could that be the other nations if it said our father? And then he says brethren. That doesn't make no sense. He has to be talking to the Israelites. Has to. Let's get this. Oh, let's get this as well. Let's get the one that I wanted when I was in the middle of reading. Now concerning 1 Corinthians 12 and verse 1. Now concerning concerning spiritual gifts, brethren, would not have you ignorant. Ye know that ye were Gentiles. Were Gentiles. Who was he talking to? Brethren, which is who? Israelites. You carried away unto, start over. 1 Corinthians 12 verse 2. Ye know that ye were Gentiles, carried away unto these dumb idols, even as ye were led. They were carried away to these dumb idols. That you were Gentiles. So let's I got another question too. So if they're just Gentiles, if they were Gentiles, I'm trying to word this. I'm trying to think how I'm going to say this. You know that you were Gentiles, carried away into these dumb idols. That I lost it. I lost what I was trying to say. But it says that they were Gentiles. Gentiles has two meanings. Let me get this too. Hold on. Let's get this real quick. Psalms 106 in verse 35. But, actually, I'm going to start at 34. They did not destroy the nations concerning whom the Lord commanded them, but were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. And they served their idols, which were a snare unto them. They were mingled among the heathen and learned their works. That's why they were Gentiles. And you could learn their works and serve their idols. Just like in today's age, we have our people all over the earth serving and mingling with the heathen and doing, for an example, our people in Christianity worshiping the idol, the Caesarea Borgia. We got that. We got our people in being Muslims, reading the Quran. What else? What else you got? We got people. Probably got some of our people in Islam following Shiva and Brahma. And we got Egyptology brothers that's all into Egypt and all that other stuff. That has nothing to do with them. And all of them serving idols, man. And they learned their works. They learned these other nations' works because we've been scattered. Just like at a point in time, we were not all, we were all Gentiles as it was. We didn't know. We was some brothers in Baptist church. Got some of our brothers in Christian churches. All that stuff, man. We was doing all that stuff. We were learning the works of the people that we've been around because we didn't know straight from the womb growing up that we were Israelites. We didn't know that. And they had to be taught to us. So we were Gentiles. He was talking to them saying we were Gentiles. Now, if you're already a Gentile, how were you a Gentile? I worded that wrong, but you guys get what I'm saying. All right, let's keep going. I want to get this. Let's address this point right here. Damn, just ripped one of my pages in the book.